At present, the most established living individual on Earth is 118 years of age. However, new examination recommends people could hypothetically live for as long as 150 years. Assuming you're into that thought, you'll need to be taking notes from lifespan specialists on the most proficient method to increment both your life and health span, i.e., how much your life you spend feeling agile and amazing. Luckily, a large portion of their suggestions will generally be not difficult to follow, and their discoveries on the best refreshments for lifespan are no exception. Dan Buettner, a creator and specialist who concentrates on the world's lifespan areas of interest, otherwise known as blue zones, which incorporate Icaria, Greece, Loma Linda, California, Sardinia, Italy, Okinawa, Japan, and Nicoya, Costa Rica, as of late posted a rundown of expressed beverages to his Instagram, and it's shockingly alluring. Certainly, you won't track down pop, or even prebiotic pop, on it, yet what you will find are a few damn delectable refreshments: espresso, green tea, dark tea, water, and, sit tight for it, wine. This individuals in blue zones, who measurably carry on with the longest lives without constant sickness, drink, Buettner makes sense of. So it's a relationship. I can't draw a causal relationship, yet I can see you that in these blue zones, this is the very thing that individuals drink, and they drink it consistently for quite a long time, or even a long time. Separate logical exploration backs up the lifespan upgrading advantages of these refreshments, as well. Continue to peruse to figure out why you are as old as what you drink. Top 5 refreshments for lifespan, as indicated by Blue Zone's pioneer Dan Buettner. 1. Green tea in the blue zone of Okinawa. Buettner says that individuals will top off a 20-ounce container of tea leaves and taste on it the entire day, and he gives 2 separate motivations to why this might assist them with arriving at centenarian status at higher rates than the overall population. First of all, caffeine has emerged as a net positive, and it's related with lower paces of diabetes and Parkinson's, lower paces of coronary illness, and more keen concentration, he says. Simply don't savor it the evening, particularly on the off chance that you're delicate to caffeine, or it'll impede your rest, he cautions. The other explanation green tea makes for a convincing lifespan drink is that it's loaded with cell reinforcements, says Buettner. What's more, enlisted dietitian Neva Cochran, Road concurs. She makes sense of that green tea is high in a sort of cell reinforcement known as flavonols, which have been connected to a decrease in terrible cholesterol. Furthermore, studies have shown a connection between green tea utilization and better cardiovascular well-being overall. Green tea is likewise wealthy in a kind of cell reinforcement known as catechins, which shield the body from free revolutionaries. These, alongside green tea's caffeine content and the amino-corrosive L-theanine, which is additionally tracked down in green tea, help to safeguard the mind. A survey of 21 unique investigations found indisputable proof connecting green tea utilization with better consideration and memory. That previously mentioned L-theanine could likewise be liable for joins between green tea utilization and further developed mood. If you're not yet persuaded to get a green tea propensity, realize that it's likewise been connected to fundamentally brought down fasting glucose levels, and that implies it very well may be defensive against the improvement of type 2 diabetes. Green tea is additionally shockingly perfect for your bones. Tea polyphenols upgrade bone development and restrain bone breakdown, bringing about more prominent bone strength, says Cochran. This performing multiple tasks well-being drink is even possibly defensive against specific kinds of disease. Green tea's EGCGs, a sort of valuable catechin, have been displayed to repress cancer development. Gracious, lastly, green tea is really great for the stomach. Research proposes that it's a prebiotic, and that implies it prompts the development of good microorganisms in the stomach and diminishes the development of not great microorganisms in the belly. 2. Dark tea. Dark tea conveys a significant number of similar advantages as green tea. It, as well, contains caffeine, cancer prevention agent polyphenols, L-theanine, and flavonols. Accordingly, it's in like manner defensive against the advancement of a few persistent illnesses including type 2 diabetes, malignant growth, stroke, and cardiovascular sickness. Also, it's shockingly better for the stomach processing than green tea. 3. Espresso, dark. Espresso comparably contains caffeine and is stuffed with valuable cell reinforcements. As a matter of fact, Says Buettner, it's the essential wellspring of cancer prevention agents in the American eating routine. However, he concedes that is generally because of the pervasiveness of espresso more than anything else. Coffee is likewise plentiful in fundamental supplements, including vitamin B5, for making red platelets, manganese, for bone turn of events and digestion, potassium, for lower pulse, magnesium, for energy creation and rest, and niacin, which helps convert nutrients into usable energy. Overall, its utilization is connected to diminished risk for type 2 diabetes, melancholy, neurodegenerative sicknesses, malignant growth, and liver illness. Buettner further notes that in the blue zone of Icaria, they grind their espresso truly fine and afterward bubble it, similar to Turkish espresso, and he says there's one more kind of cancer prevention agent delivered by this process. Point 4. Water. It ought to be obvious that water is great for you. Clearly, the body requires it and can make do without it for around 3 days. But on the other hand, it's unbelievably restorative when contrasted with most refreshments found on store retires nowadays, in that it doesn't contain sugar, synthetic substances, or additives. In every blue zone, says Buettner, individuals hydrate with their feasts. It's anything but a major gallon of milk like we used to have when we were children, or some power drink or fermented tea or any of these blends that are perseveringly promoted, he says. Buettner hypothesizes that the water in blue zones might be more stimulating than the water in different spots as well. In the event that you request a centenarian what makes sense of the lifespan from the area, they'll say great food, clean air, and new water, he says. Furthermore, it might without a doubt be that the water in the blue zones is cleaner. Approaching clean water is, obviously, a serious health issue in many pieces of the world. In the Nicoya landmass or Costa Rica, Buettner makes sense of that the water that air pockets out of the earth is likewise extremely high in calcium and magnesium. At the point when you have elevated degrees of calcium in daylight, those two plan to make your bones more grounded so individuals have less breaks and less deadly falls, he makes sense of. Also, magnesium is great for heart capability. So that might contribute a little part to lifespan in Nicoya. This hypothesis checks out assuming you consider the demonstrated medical advantages of drinking packaged mineral water. 5. Red wine. You may be amazed to track down this one on the rundown, and Buettner promptly concedes that there's debate around situating liquor as valuable to well-being in any capacity. I'm very much aware of the new examinations around liquor showing that it builds the opportunity of bosom disease in ladies, or that it can cause falls, vehicle crashes, and other lethal occasions, he says. However, I can see you that in each of the 5 blue zones, they drink somewhat consistently and it adds to their personal satisfaction, he says. In the event that you drink a tad of red wine with a plant-based feast, it will about 4-fold the flavonoid or cell reinforcement retention and lower cortisol levels by the day's end. He further notes that there are really studies connecting it to a lower chance of mortality. Individuals who drink a smidgen, up to 2 beverages every day, really have a lower opportunity of kicking the bucket than individuals who don't drink by any means, says Buettner. This is possible because of the great cell reinforcement content of wine, which has been demonstrated to be defensive against cardiovascular illness, type 2 diabetes, and, surprisingly, a few types of cancer. And Buettner takes note of that you can't misjudge the holding impacts of moderate liquor utilization. As a new profound make a plunge the Atlantic brought up, liquor's capacity to empower local area likely could be one reason the human-animal varieties hasn't developed away from it in spite of a portion of its unfavorable impacts, similar to the headache and long-haul medical problems related with major areas of strength for it. Since ties are one of the foundations of lifespan, it seems okay then whatever empowers them might assist with peopling live longer. In any case, this accompanies a great deal of provisos, as Buettner notes. Balance is critical. We ought to drink something like 1 beverage each day, and a few examinations have displayed there is no protected degree of liquor consumption. So, the wine contention remains very nuanced and disputable, but Buettner keeps up with that the blue zones offer an undeniable case for guzzling with some restraint. These individuals who are experiencing the longest of anyone on earth are partaking shortly of their number 1 drink cocktail consistently, he says.